Hey guys, so I wanted to talk to you about a concept I'm going to be mentioning a lot during this program, and that's the concept of internal rotation versus external rotation. Okay, and we're going to be talking about that a lot in relation to your shoulders. So there's basically, you can think of internal rotation, external rotation as just the two different ways we can rotate our joints, and this concept applies to every joint in our body, not just the shoulder. It's just that the shoulder is very relevant to our pull-up programs. That's what we're going to be talking about the most. And it's also going to come up when we're doing the push-ups as well. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the internal and external rotation. First, I'm just going to show you from like a kneeling position, and then I'll flip this camera down and I'll show you how we can practice this on the ground. At the same time, I'm also going to be talking a bit about protraction, elevation, retraction, and depression, because all these things kind of go together. All right, important positions of the shoulder. So when it comes to internal versus external rotation, in general, I like to think of it as this. Internal rotation, if you throw a punch, it's internal rotation, right? My torque is going this way, and my arm's going this way, but it doesn't mean that I do this. I wouldn't throw a punch like this. I'm just internally rotating the shoulder, but I wouldn't be rotating my upper back. Okay, so it's just going to be this. External rotation I like to think about as though I'm pulling a rope towards me. You wouldn't pull a rope like this. It's not going to be as efficient as pulling that hand in towards you. Okay, so you can practice by just having a fist out in front. Okay, you should be level with your shoulder. So if you need to, have a mirror next to you. And all you need to think about doing is initiating from the shoulder, so not from my wrist, but from my shoulder. Okay, turning my shoulder as far out as I can. Again, not from the wrist. And that's my external rotation. And then rotating it as far in as I can. Again, not from the wrist, just from the shoulder, and not caving the shoulder in. That's my internal rotation. So you can go external, internal. And feel which muscles turn on. As you externally rotate, you should feel your lat turn on. As you internally rotate, you should feel more of that anterior delt turn on the front of your shoulder. Okay, you can do that on the other side as well if you want to pause this video and do that on the other side. And you can practice in multiple positions. So we can also do this with our shoulder out to the side, internal rotation, external rotation. Internal rotation, external rotation. And notice I'm not moving my body to do this. It should all be coming from the shoulder. In the beginning, this movement might be small, and that's okay. We can also practice it from up ahead. Obviously, this is quite relevant to our pull-up, okay? And again, I can go external rotation, internal rotation, external rotation, internal rotation. Okay, and you can see it's a small movement, so I'm not going internal rotation, external rotation. Should just be my shoulders that I'm moving. All right. We can also practice this on the ground, and that's going to be really helpful when it comes to our push-ups. All right, and it's also helpful to feel some tension in through your hands. So I'm just going to put you guys on the ground and adjust this so you can see my arms. All right, so if we're doing this on the ground, I know my head's not in the picture, but my arms are a bit more important right now. I'm thinking about having my hand directly stacked under my shoulder. Let me get my shoulder in the picture. There we go. All right. So I can press down to the ground. My shoulder shouldn't be caved in. My shoulder should be locked back. Okay. And then I can think again, external. That means my inside of my elbow is pointing forward. Okay. And internal means the inside of my elbow is pointing back. But again, I didn't collapse my shoulder in. I'm just rotating it. So external, internal, external, internal. Okay, so when we're doing our push-ups, we're going to be thinking still quite a lot about external rotation, so we keep that shoulder open. That's going to allow my elbow to come back as I go into my push-up. Okay, so we're talking a lot about external rotation these days. Sometimes we do want internal rotation, but for pulling, we're going to be thinking mainly on the external. All right, so practice those on both sides, and then you can practice it with both hands, the external and the internal. Okay, practice it on the ground and then hang from your bar and practice on the bar, external, internal, external, internal. Okay, I think that's a good length of video for today. So I'll leave you just with external and internal rotation, and then we'll talk about scapular positioning in the next video.